Hello my dear friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joycey Joy and today in this lecture we will be discussing will India become a big importer of food in the recent times. So here we will understand and analyze about the agricultural self-sustainability of India. We will analyze what are the factors that creates a supply-demand mismatch in case of agricultural commodities or food commodities in India, and we will also analyze some data or report given by NSSO, UN projections. We will also analyze some of the revolutions in agricultural sector like the Green Revolution, White Revolution and other revolutions, government initiatives. We will also analyze some of the restrictive practices like the APMC, and we will also discuss about some ways in order to attain food sustainability. But before that, I would like to give you a background. The reason for this shortfall or fall in the output is because of the rural distress. So agricultural distress or rural distress has led to a situation where there is a deficiency in output. Now on the other hand, if we look at the household sector, there is an increasing demand among the household sector for food commodities. This is because of many factors like increase in population, increase in the income levels of the people, increase in demand, etc. So in between this, there is a supply-demand mismatch. It means that the supply of the food commodities are not enough or sufficient to meet the demand, and in this case, this gap has to be met with imports. So we will be analyzing whether this situation will soon approach India or whether India will become an importer of food, especially on large quantities. So we will be analyzing this in detail in this lecture. But before we begin, this is our channel StudyIQ and we are providing pen drive courses for various competitive examinations including SSC and bank courses, UPSC optionals, SSC JE courses, teaching examination, railway examination, defense examination, RBI grade B, NABARD grade A, UGC NET, UPSC Civil Services Examination, CLAT exams for various state PSCs and also for various professional courses. You can visit our website www.studyiq.com for more details, or you can call to any of these numbers for more information. So let us start. Let us first understand what is the background by which we say that whether India will become a big importer of food commodities. So if you look at the population of India, it is the second largest country in terms of population or the second populous country in the world, and according to the United Nations, that is the UN projections, India is likely to surpass China's population by 2024. China is the most populous country in the world, and according to UN projections, India will surpass China by 2024. And UN also projects that the population level of India will reach 1.5 billion by 2030. And this will make India the most populous nation on the planet. Now coming to the demography of India, about 2/3, that is almost 66% of Indians are below the age of 35. So they are below the age of 35. They form the demographic dividend of the country. So with a larger proportion of working age population, the demand for food commodities or demand in the economy will increase. So this also contributes to the fact that the demand for food or agricultural commodities in the coming years will increase. Now coming to other factors, that is GDP and per capita income. GDP is the gross domestic product, which is the monetary value of all the final goods and services produced in an economy within a financial year within the domestic territories of an economy. Now the average growth rate of India's GDP in the past few years has been 7%. So the GDP growth rate is very high and it is expected to grow further. And coming to the population growth in the country is coming down. So gradually declining to 1.1%. So here comes per capita income. Per capita income is GDP divided by population. So here the numerator is GDP denominator is population. So if you know basic mathematics, you know that when the numerator increases and the denominator decreases, what happens? The sum will increase. So in case of India, the GDP, which is the numerator, is increasing and population, which is the denominator, is decreasing. So increase in GDP and decrease in population growth will give more per capita income. So here the sum is per capita income. So per capita income increases. It means that every individual have more money, or per capita income is more. So the purchasing power of individuals will increase, and purchasing power increase means that there will be a growth in the demand in the economy. So there will be more demand, and a majority of the demand will be for the food commodities. So especially the demand for food commodities will increase. Now let us look into the details of the Consumption Expenditure Survey of 2011. So the Consumption Expenditure Survey was released by NSSO. NSSO is National Sample Survey Office, and this survey revealed that an average Indian household spent 45% of its monthly expenditure on food. So almost half, or nearly half, of the monthly expenditure of an average household in India is spent on food expenditure. So it implies that the demand for food in India is going to increase. So this is an indicator that the demand for food commodities in India will increase. So here comes the question whether Indian agriculture will be able to feed the growing demand, or whether India will become a large importer of food in the coming future. Now, if we add some more factors to this question, the first factor being climate change and the second factor is groundwater level depletion. So, if we add both these factors, we will have to understand the reality that the supply of food commodities at present will not be sufficient to meet the growing demand for food commodities in the coming future. So, let us look into the details. So, climate change will reduce the crop yield. This is because of increasing temperatures, increasing drought conditions, environmental disasters. So this will definitely reduce the crop yield, and along with that is the groundwater level depletion. So this is also going to put pressure on agricultural outputs. So if we look at the demand plus climate change plus groundwater depletion levels, we will understand that the supply of agricultural commodities will not be sufficient to meet the growing demand, because on the other hand the demand is growing and it is expected to grow further. So there will be a supply demand mismatch. So this has to be met somehow. So this can be either done by imports or increasing the agricultural produce from India itself. So this raises the question whether India will become a import dependent country even for food requirements. Now if we look at the history, we will see there are various revolutions that took place in India in order to feed its population. The first such example of such a revolution was in 1960s, that was the Green Revolution. So Green Revolution introduced high yielding varieties of seeds which are called miracle seeds in India, and it was supported or supplemented by irrigation, fertilizers, pesticides, etc. in order to drastically increase the crop produce in India. So now India is not only self-sufficient in basic staples like wheat and rice and other cereals, but India is also an exporter of cereals, rice, wheat, etc. And India is also the largest exporter of rice. Now if we look at the case of milk production, the white revolution is very significant. So milk is India's largest agri commodity. Its production is around 177 million tons in 2017-18. And its value is more than that of rice and wheat combined together. The White Revolution, which was steered by Vergis Kurian during the late 1970s, is one example where innovative method of milk collection was used and resulting in an organized retail network of milk production and supply. Other revolutions also took place in India in agriculture, like the Blue Revolution for fisheries, Red Revolution for meat, golden revolution for fruits and vegetables, and green revolution for cotton. So these are all important for your preliminary examination. You should be able to match the color and what type of revolution it refers to. So all these agri revolution triggered innovations in technologies, created institutions, and as a result of all this, India became a net exporter of agri produce. Net exporter means the import and export. So here the quantum of exports are more than that of imports. So that is net exporter. So India has become a net exporter of agri produce. Even though we were able to achieve our targets in output, one failure of all these revolutions, or most of these revolutions we can say, is to resolve the issue of the farmers. So price discovery or the incentive for the farmers was one issue that was not addressed by most of these revolutions. Now if we look at the present government, also government instituted and initiated various schemes like doubling the farmers' income by 2022 and raising the MSP for major crops, and also direct income support or income transfer to the farmers. All these were some of the schemes and initiatives introduced by the government. But maybe in the short run, these schemes were not able to completely address the issues of the farmers. Though these schemes and initiatives provided a support to the farmers, the basic issue of the agricultural sector still continues. Now what is the way ahead? So government have to address the basic issues in agriculture, and for that long-term reforms are required. One is price discovery, second one is agri marketing, third one is food self-sufficiency, and the fourth one is linkages to the global value chain. So these are all some of the reforms that should be the agenda of the new government. Now various restrictive practices were also undertaken. For example, the APMC. This restricted the farmer's choice of selling the produce only in a particular market. So such type of issues needs to be addressed, and these reforms needs to be adopted. You can find the PDF of this lecture on our website www.studyiq.com. You can follow my Facebook page for more video updates. You can also write to me at joycey.studyiq@gmail.com for any of your queries and clarifications. Thank you.